for standing by, and welcome to the Up Fintech Holding Limited second quarter 2021 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. There will be a presentation followed by a question and answer session. I must advise you that this conference is being recorded today, Friday, September 10th, 2021. I would now like to hand the conference over to your first speaker today, Mr. Clark S. Soucy. Thank you. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, operator. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the call today. Up Fintech Holding Limited second quarter 2021 earnings release was distributed earlier today and is available on our IR website at ir.itigr.com, as well as Globe Newswire services. On the call today from Up Fintech are Mr. Wu Tianhua, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. John Zeng, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Huang Lei, the CEO of U.S. TIGR Securities, and Mr. Kenny Zhao, our Financial Controller. Mr. Wu will give an overview of our business operations and discuss corporate highlights. Mr. Zeng will then discuss our financial results. They will both be available to answer your questions during the Q&A session that follows their remarks. Now, let me cover the safe harbor. The statements we are about to make contain forward-looking statements within the meaning of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. A number of factors could cause actual results to differ materially from those contained in any forward-looking statement. For more information about factors that could cause actual results to materially differ from those in the forward-looking statements, please refer to our Form 6K furnished today, September 10th, 2021, and our annual report on Form 20F filed on April 28, 2021. We undertake no obligation to update any forward-looking statement except as required under applicable law. It is my pleasure to now introduce our Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Wu. Mr. Wu will make remarks in Chinese, which will be followed by an English translation. Mr. Wu, please go ahead with your remarks.
大家好，非常感谢各位来参加老虎证券2021年第二季度财报发布会。
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tiger Brokers 2021 second quarter earnings conference call.
二季度的整体市场环境相比一季度有所下滑，但得益老虎国际化的发展以及公司产品服务的不断加强，公司在2021年第二季度也取得了高速的增长。第二季度的总收入为6020万美金，相比去年同期增长了 98.7%。本季度我们也加大了在获客、自我精算和人才招聘上的投入，成本端有明显上升。但我们坚信这些投入能更好地奠定我们的竞争优势和成长动力。抛去对年初发行的可转债有1370万美金的公允价的调整后，本季度的 non-GAAP 口径亏损为440万美金。老虎证券全球开户客户数新增 24.9 万，到达 164.9 万，为去年同期的近2倍。入金客户增加到 52.9 万，单季度新增入金人数为 15.3 万，为去年同期的 4.5 倍。相比今年一季度，环比也上涨了 30.4%， 创历史单季度的新高。其中新增入金超过60%来自海外，国际化发展成果显著。2021年上半年新增入金人数为27万人，已经超过了从2015年上线到2020年的历史总和。尽管市场大环境不太理想，我们还是有比较高的资产净流入，客户总资产增加到 239.3 亿美金，为去年同期的近3倍。相比我们今年一季度也环比上涨了 11.8%。
Although market sentiment was weaker in the second quarter, we still achieved substantial growth thanks to internationalization and the strength of our comprehensive product and service offerings. Total revenue in the second quarter was $60.2 million, representing 98.7% growth year over year. This quarter, we also increased investment in user acquisition, self-clearing, and talent recruitment. We are confident such investment will bolster our market-leading position and fuel future expansion in our business. Factor in the $13.7 million fair value change to convertible bonds we issued earlier this year, and non-GAAP loss is $4.4 million for this quarter. Total customer accounts increased by 249,000 in the second quarter to 1.649 million, which is 2 times the total number of accounts in the same period of last year. We added 153,000 funded accounts this quarter, 4.5 times that of the quarterly addition last year, and a 30.4% increase quarter over quarter. The number of total funded accounts rose to 529,000. Of the 153,000 new additions this quarter, over 60% came from offshore, exhibiting the growing momentum of our internationalization strategy. Total newly funded accounts in the first half of 2021 reached 270,000, surpassing the total number of funded accounts acquired since our platform went online in 2015 through 2020. Even with a weaker market backdrop, we still see healthy asset inflows. Total AUM reached $23.9 billion this quarter, up nearly 3 times year over year and 11.8% quarter over quarter.
和大家同步下3个方面我们的业务发展的最新情况。
I would now like to take this opportunity to provide investors with an update on 3 key business initiatives at our company.
第一项，国际化方向。今天老虎证券持有美国、澳大利亚、新加坡、新西兰等国家和地区的经济业务、投资银行、资产管理等牌照，在这些国家设有办公室。得益于第2季度国际化的发展，我们当季度增量入金客户有1大半来自于海外。截止到6/30，海外用户已经占到总入金人数的40%。老虎的国际化只开展了1年多的时间，我们证明了自己的国际化能力，可以在比较短的时间内获得大量海外用户。国际化不仅大幅提升了用户增长速度，拓宽了用户规模的天花板，也让老虎拥有了在多地不同监管下的展业经验，使得我们能够更好地服务个人和机构用户投资全球市场。我们也很高兴地和大家同步，目前单一新加坡区域已经超过了20万入金。我们对国际化发展充满信心。尽管2季度以来市场环境发生了很大的变化，但我们对于完成今年年初制定的全年新增35万以上入金的指引非常有信心。
TIGR Brokers is continually expanding our global reach, and our network of subsidiaries covers the U.S., Australia, Singapore, and other countries. Our subsidiaries are licensed to conduct a wide range of securities businesses, including investment banking, asset management, and brokerage. Our internationalization continues to accelerate. More than 60% of newly funded accounts this quarter came from offshore markets. And as of June 30th, 40% of our total funded accounts were from international users. We only started executing on our internationalization strategy just over a year ago. But our progress thus far is a testament to the value proposition of our platform in foreign markets. We see vast, latent demand for our services across a wide range of countries and regions, and expect that internationalization will not only spur growth in new accounts, but also raise the ceiling for the future size of our client base. As we expand to new countries and add products and markets to our trading platform, our firm gains new experience and knowledge for engaging with regulatory bodies, enabling us to further enhance the client experience. I am pleased to report that as of today, we already have over 200,000 funded accounts in Singapore. We firmly believe internationalization will drive further growth. Although the market has been weak since the second quarter, we are confident to achieve our guidance of 350,000 new funded accounts this year.
第2个方向，企业服务方向。今天老虎证券形成以经纪业为核心，投行、ESOP 和格局化齐头并进的增长策略。
To B services. Today, our growth strategy envisions simultaneously developing our expertise in investment banking, ESOP, and brokerage to augment our capabilities to meet our clients' global financial services needs.
ESOP 员工资源管理业务发展迅猛。第二季度 ESOP 新增客户51家，累计客户数216家。我们不仅能够服务美港股上市公司，也能够服务 A 股上市公司。
The rapid expansion of our ESOP business continues to exceed our expectations. In the second quarter, we added 51 new ESOP clients for a grand total of 216 clients. We serve not only U.S. and Hong Kong listed companies, but we also help A-share companies manage their employee options.
第二季度，我们一共已经参与17家美股上市 IPO 和增发，其中有14家作为承销商，比如 BOSS 食品、万物新生、叮咚买菜等。非常感谢这些上市公司对我们的信赖。那很多朋友也关心中概赴美上市创有期的暂停。那我们不仅仅能够承销中概赴美上市，也可以承销香港上市。过去我们参与了一系列公司的香港上市，比如网易、小鹏汽车、B 站、合博医药、德奇医药等。
In the second quarter, we participated in 17 IPOs and follow-on offerings in the U.S. market, and also served as an underwriter for 14, including BOSS, Show, International, and Ding Dong, among others. In light of the recent concerns over ADR IPOs, I would like to highlight for our investors and stakeholders that we possess extensive capabilities to act as an underwriter in Hong Kong. In the past year, we participated in many popular listings in Hong Kong, such as those of NetEase, Xpeng, Bilibili, Harbor Biomed, and Antingene, among others.
第三，自我清算方向。
Finally, I would like to provide an update on our self-clearing capability.
公司在2019年7月并购了 Nasco， 一家美国拥有30年以上历史的自我清算券商。我们获得了美国自我清算牌照，这是非常重要的一个里程碑，真正实现了从前台到中后台的自我研发，拥有更深的技术壁垒，对合规、运营技术等等都有了更高的要求。截止到2021年第二季度，我们已经有50%以上的用户在用 Nasco 自我清算。目前全球所有增量用户的美股都已经在用自我清算。我们预计到今年年底，70%以上的用户都将使用自我清算。
In July of 2019, we acquired TradeUp Securities, Inc., formerly Marsco, a broker-dealer with over 30 years' experience in self-clearing and its own self-clearing license, because we wanted to establish the technical, operational, and compliance capability to manage our own proprietary brokerage system. I am pleased to report that as of the second quarter 2021, more than 50% of our clients were having their U.S. cash equities self-cleared by TradeUp. We project that by the end of this year, we will be self-clearing for over 70% of our clients.
现在请 CFO John 跟各位汇报一下财务细节。
Hello, thanks Tianhua Clark. Let me walk through our second quarter financial performance. All numbers are in USD. Total revenue was $60.2 million this quarter, up 99% year over year. Commission were $31 million, up 64% year over year, but down 41% from the first quarter of this year. The drop in commission was due to weaker market sentiment in the second quarter, as total trading volume dropped 18% quarter over quarter, plus the proportion of higher unit economic products, for example cash equity, dropped from 50% of the trading volume in the first quarter to 40% of trading volume in the second quarter. The decrease in commission also resulted in a lower blended take rate of 3 bps in the second quarter versus 4.3 bps in the first quarter of this year. but in reality, the fee rate remains the same for both quarters. Interest-related income, which combines financing service fee and interest income, was $19 million, an increase of 115% year-over-year and 7% quarter-over-quarter. The increase was due to higher margin and securities lending balance and gradual ramp-up in self-clearing. Other revenue was $10.2 million, up 300% year-over-year, primarily due to more equity underwriting, IR/PR services, and currency exchange services. Now switching to cost. Interest expense increased 154% year-over-year to $4.8 million this quarter, in line with our usual growth as increase in margin activities. Execution and clearing expense were $6.6 million this quarter, increased 131% year-over-year as we have more funded account customers and higher trading volume. Employee compensation increased 82% year-over-year to $20.6 million as we keep adding headcounts in R&D, self-clearing to support our global growth. Along with the headcount increase, this quarter occupancy expense increased 32% year-over-year to $1.5 million. SG&A increased 84% year-over-year to $5.1 million. Marketing expense had the most uptake within OPEX, increased more than 700% year-over-year to $24 million. We are fully committed to internationalization, and in the second quarter, we increased marketing offshore, mostly in Singapore through both online and offline channel to drive brand awareness and user acquisition. We firmly believe grabbing more market share right now will help deliver better financial performance down the road. As a result of rapid user growth, communication and data usage also increased 143% year-over-year to $5 million this quarter. With the increased spending to drive growth and a fair value change of $13.7 million on the convertible bonds we issued earlier this year, our net loss for second quarter was $21.5 million. Taking out the fair value change and other non-GAAP items, our non-GAAP loss for this quarter was $4.4 million. Now we have concluded our presentation. Operator, please open the line for Q&A. Thanks.
Certainly. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. If you wish to ask a question, please press *1 on your telephone keypad and wait for your name to be announced. If you wish to cancel your request, you can press the pound or hash key. Please hold on till we compile the Q&A roster. Once again, it is * followed by 1 to ask the question. We have the first question. This is coming from the line of Han Tu from CICC. Please go ahead.
管理层你好，我是来自中金的分析师楚涵，我这边有2个问题想请教。第一个是我们看到2季度的获客增长特别强，那么截止当前的话，想请教一下管理层对于3季度的客户入金，包括成本投放方面的一个指引。那第2个问题是关于我们的清算费率，相比于1季度，其实清算费率环比还有所上升，但我们的清算比例是持续增长的。那请问这是什么原因？那我翻译一下。Thanks for taking my question. This is Han from CICC. I have 2 questions. The first one is about the guidance of the Q3. We see the strong growth of users in Q2. Could you give us more color on the number of clients and also client assets and the cost of spending in the coming quarter? The second question is about the clearing fee rate. We are wondering why the execution and the clearing fee rate to our commission revenue went up in Q2, while we see the continuous increase in the self-clearing. Thanks.
Thank you, Han. So I will answer your 2 questions. First is on the guidance for the third quarter. So looking at July, August data, we see higher UE products like cash equity option volume went up versus the second quarter. So we feel if market stays like this, and we will expect commission to have a moderate increase in the third quarter. But our ADR underwriting is on hold due to the current policy from China and the U.S. regulators. So short term, this could have a negative impact on our revenue. but the impact should be manageable as ADR underwriting only accounted for less than 10% of our revenue. So we think ADR equity offering will resume once regulators give more clarity. And in the meantime, as Tianhua mentioned earlier, we are very active in Hong Kong IPO as international underwriter, and we already underwrote Bilibili, Xiaopeng, those popular IPOs. So this could offset some short-term impact from the halt in U.S. equity underwriting. In terms of customer acquisition, so the biggest OPEX is sales and marketing. We expect the third quarter our marketing expense to be in line or less than second quarter, as we don't offer any offline events in Singapore. But we will be very opportunistic to acquire users when we see fit. In terms of AUM per users, so in July and August, we still see very healthy net inflows for both months. But due to market sentiment, average AUM is down around 10 to 15% by end of August versus end of June. And your second question regarding the clearing, the clearing expense went up. So the main reason of the increase in clearing expense is we have a lot more Singapore clients, and we offer Singapore stock trading. Based on local regulation, if the client is trading Singapore stock, the client's asset needs to be held at a SGX clearing member. Our Singapore subsidiary is not an SGX member yet, so we pay third-party custodian fee for each client open account with us. Given we have over 200,000 Singapore clients already, we paid close to 2 million custodian fee the second quarter, which counted as our clearing expense. As you might know, our Singapore subsidiaries already received AIP from SGX to become a clearing member. So once we officially become the SGX clearing member, we can greatly reduce the custodian fee. I believe we can see some reduction in custodian fee starting in the first quarter. Thanks.
Thanks, that was very helpful.
Thank you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is star followed by 1 to ask a question. Please note there might be a slight pause as we collate the questions. We have the next question. This is coming from the line of Judy Zhang from Citi. Please go ahead.
感谢管理层给我这个提问的机会。是花旗银行的我虽然一下新加坡这边的情况，也介绍了一下新市场1年前
Judy 听不太清楚，你能再 repeat 一下吗？
请问管理层听得见吗？
现在可以了 ，Judy， 麻烦你重新说一遍，好吧？谢谢。
好的，我就是想问一下，我们这个新加坡市场的一个情况，就是cohort 的入金客户资产规模的情况，以及获客成本和 payback period 在去年1年前和现在这个最新季度的一个情况，听得清楚吗？
好的，谢谢。我请天华来回答一下这个问题吧，谢谢Judy。
OK， 谢谢。
谢谢。我们用这个1年前2020年这个第2季度新加坡的入金用户作为我们的这个样本的话，我们会发现，大多数用户这个初次平均可能是在$6-7千这样的一个情况，但是到了1年之后，这个今年的第2季度末的时候，人均能够到达这个$3万以上。那包括这一年每个季度也是这个户均资产是一个净流入的状态。那我们觉得这个说明呢，用户喜欢我们产品，他们在这个持续的这个入金。那另外一点也跟我们在这个中国看到的这个客户的情况类似，很多时候这个他们渐渐的这个有一些这个交易经验，或者说这个经过一段时间之后，他们的资产规模其实会这个变得更大一点。
Let me translate. Okay. So on the client, funded clients profile, so we use the users we acquired last year, say second quarter of 2020 as a cohort sample. Initial deposit among that group is around $6,000 to $7,000. 1 year later, by end of second quarter this year, average client asset is around $30,000. Since second quarter of last year, each quarter this cohort group has net asset inflow, which means they are keeping deposit money into their account, and AUM growth is not only due to equity value appreciation.
说到这个 Payback 这样的一个问题，我们用，
所以它有现在这个季度的 user 的情况。
现在这个季度，我们会发现跟这个1年前刚开始的时候类似，差不多这个$5000左右，但这并不代表这个用户质量的这个下降，可能跟市场情况有关。另外，我们相信可能也会类似于这个1年前的这样的数据，随着时间这个推移，大家渐渐的这个入金不断的这个增加。
Okay, if we look at new customer we acquired this quarter, second quarter of 2021, their average initial deposit is around $5,000, slightly below the initial deposit of the second quarter of 2020 clients. We don't think this is due to a deterioration of client quality. We feel it's more like it's more due to the less attractive market backdrop. We feel similar to the clients we acquired last year. After several quarters, they will keep depositing money to trade on TIGR platform.
关于这个 Payback 这个问题，我们用2020年第二季度的用户作为基础，户均获客成本大概是在$130。那个时候这个市场这个比较活跃一些，所以基本上这个2个季度左右就能够回本。那我们最近这个2021年第二季度用户获客成本有所上升，差不多是在这个$160左右。那主要的原因是这个竞争这个变得更为激烈了一些。那除了这个我们的这个同行之外，那我们也可以看到这个币圈的一些这个公司也在这个同行上有一定的这个竞争。那今年这个第二季度行情总来讲，这个市场环境一般，这个金融金有所下降。那我们觉得大概在这个1年左右，这个能够 payback。
So on customer acquisition costs and payback, we still use the second quarter 2020 as a cohort sample. Back then, customer acquisition cost was about $130, and back then the market was more active. So if we only count the net commission, excluding interest, the payback was around 2 quarters for that cohort group. Look at newly acquired user in the second quarter of this year. Due to more competition, the customer acquisition cost went up to around $160 per person. And their commission also dropped due to a weaker market drop. Still, we feel it's still going to be attractive for us to acquire those users, even though the payback increased to 4 to 6 quarters, because our users are relatively young, and as long as we can get them payback in a relatively short period, there will still a lot of upside for us to monetize. Thank you, Judy.
We have the next question. This is coming from the line of Eric Liu from China Renaissance. Please go ahead.
Hello， 非常感谢管理层给我提问的机会。那我这边有2个小问题想请教一下。第一个问题是，我们看到2季度交易量其实环比有一个下滑，但是这个净利息收入还有融资余额反而有一个上升，所以说想请问一下这个背后原因。那第二个问题是想请问一下，就是我们注意到2季度咱们内地新增用户数要比友商要高，所以说想请问一下管理层背后的这个获客策略还有获客成本。那我简单翻译一下。So thanks management for giving me the opportunity to ask questions. So my first question is, we saw the trading volume decrease quarter-over-quarter in second quarter, but the net interest income and margin financing balance both increased, especially the margin financing balance. So can I ask the rationale behind this? So for the second question, So we noted our number of new paying clients acquired from mainland China was more than our competitor. So can I ask what's our current customer acquisition strategy in mainland China and the cost of it? Thanks.
Sure. Thanks, Eric. So I will answer your two questions. So the first one was on the net interest income. So the main reason of the net interest income increase while the trading volume came down is we're starting to ramp up our self-clearing capability. So once we starting, given we have more and more trading volume and asset hold our own clearing firm, we're starting to use some of our clients' idle cash, which gives us cheaper funding and also gives us more flexibility in terms of the cap we can lend to each customers. And also becoming a self-clearing firm enables us to become a direct counterparty for securities lending business, which is pretty lucrative on the street. So we can generate more interest without sharing with other intermediaries. So that's the main reason, our net interest income increased in the second quarter while the trading volume came down. And of course, the margin balance, if you look at our balance sheet, also increased versus the first quarter. But the 1 billion margin balance on our balance sheet includes Hong Kong IPO. So take out Hong Kong IPO, which is not that profitable for us for the Hong Kong IPO margin business. Taking out that part, our margin loan balance is about 450 million, while in the first quarter was about 400 million. So those two are the main reasons why net interest income went up in the second quarter. And in terms of the customer acquisition for onshore customers, so in the second quarter, we have been working with more channels or intermediaries to target Chinese investors who already have asset offshore. So this is so far showing good results. And of course, our ESOP is also a pretty good user acquisition tool for us to tap into those Chinese users. In terms of customer acquisition cost, it's pretty much in line with our previous customer acquisition cost for Chinese users. The major increase of our customer acquisition cost actually came from Singapore, as we mentioned earlier. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question. This is coming from the line of Ya Zheng from TH Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, management. Thank you for taking my question. This is Bella from TH Capital. I have one question. I was hoping management could shed some light on the trading asset distribution, given the previous experience and regulations on Chinese ADRs in terms of your customer transaction behavior. Do you see any shift to Hong Kong securities? And can we think this intensive competition was partly due to some kind of transaction habit shift? That's my question. Thanks.
Sorry, you were a little bit breaking up. So you mean the trading volume shifting to Hong Kong, and do we see more strong competition from the existing players?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So in terms of, so the thing is, right now, if you look at all the Chinese ADRs coming back to Hong Kong, we think this, will likely be a trend. As we mentioned earlier, we have been very active in Hong Kong as an international underwriter for Chinese ADR secondary listing in Hong Kong. So we think that part, we feel pretty confident we can keep, getting more corporate clients and also use these opportunities to acquire, more retail clients. And in terms of trading capabilities, traditionally, our strength was in the U.S. market, but recently we have developed a lot more resources to develop our Hong Kong trading capabilities. For example, all the Hong Kong level 2 data, I think we are one of the few firms to offer it for free. And the Hong Kong options, we are one of the first firm to offer to Hong Kong to investors. So we think the trading, no matter it's from the primary market or the secondary market, we are much more capable versus we were like 1 or 2 years ago. So I think the trend we will still benefit. Once we develop more resources into the Hong Kong trading capability and R&D.
Okay, very clear. Thank you.
Thank you. We have no further questions at this moment. I would like to hand the conference back to our host for any ending remarks.
I'd like to thank everyone for joining our call today. I am now closing the call on behalf of the management team here at TIGR. We do appreciate your participation in today's call. If you have any further questions, please reach out to our investor relations team. This concludes the call, and thank you very much for your time.